The Jacksonville Jags have been very active today. All the reports, all the headlines have gone to Bill Belichick for obvious reasons. But Jacksonville has been very active in free agency on this first day of free agency. Now, not huge names, but players that will come in and help them and play depth roles for their roster. We've seen a kick returner in Jamal Agnew, also potential gadget player, traded for a 5th-round pick from Detroit to Jacksonville. Jamal Agnew is somebody that I really like as a kick returner. He's explosive, open field, just makes people miss, and a game changer. I think that's somebody that I'd always welcome to my team, is a premier kick returner, punt returner type player. He can also be used on jet sweeps, handoffs, and maybe as a Curtis Samuel-esque type of player offensively for Jacksonville. They also signed a player that I love. I think he's one of the most underrated defensive linemen in football. That's Roy Robertson Harris of the Chicago Bears. 3 years, $24.4 million, $14 million guaranteed. Roy Robertson Harris has never been a full-time player because of the strength of Eddie Goldman and Akeem Hicks up front for Chicago. But when he's gotten a chance to play, he has been very good. He's very good versus the run, but also kind of underrated as a pass rusher. Huge man, very strong player, and like length, size. Think Calais Campbell light, okay? This is the type of player Roy Robertson Harris is. Big wingspan, he's like 6'6", about 275, 280-ish. He's not quite 300 pounds, but he fits that style of defense now in Baltimore, where I think it's funny because he's played a majority of his career in like a different type of role than I feel he's going to play in Jacksonville. So Jacksonville's converting their defense to more of a Baltimore style of defense, and I think he's somebody that could play some end for you on early downs in run sets and run defense sets and run defense downs, but then he can move inside for you on pass rushing downs. I look at him as somebody that is really the replacement for Taven Bryan, who they kind of whiffed on and they kind of missed on in the draft. That's probably what I'm looking at here, as a replacement for him or somebody that can just be productive on the interior. So I thought they were definitely going to go after, a big nose tackle, a big D tackle, somebody in that realm. And I think that's what Roy Robertson Harris is. Jacksonville was one of the worst run defenses in the NFL last year. And I think with him coming in there, he's going to make that unit a lot stronger. All right. And he's going to play probably as an every down player for Jacksonville. And you're going to see far more production from him than you've seen from him in the past. So don't really lean on the production. Don't look at the stats with Roy Robertson Harris as much, but turn on the film and realize how good this player is. He's very good shedding blocks, getting in the backfield, making plays that way, using his long arms and using his reach to his advantage. I think Roy Robertson Harris is going to be a very good player for Jacksonville in a lot of different type of roles. But like I said, the most comparable player I can remember for Jacksonville is like a Calais Campbell type, where he could play on the inside, but he can also play on the outside. And I think he fits that type of Baltimore scheme very, very well. The next player is Dwayne Smoot. So Smoot is the total opposite. He is a edge player. They re-signed him. So you guys know who Dwayne Smoot is, but I actually have always really liked Dwayne Smoot. I think he's been a very good rotation player. I don't think he's a true starter, but I think what he brings to this team is a little bit of pass rush, a little bit of athleticism, and pretty good solid ability to set the edge. He's just a well-rounded, solid rotation edge player that you're getting back in your defense that can join the likes of K'Lavon Chaisson and Josh Allen on the edge. Then the next guy is Phillip Dorsett. Phillip Dorsett I know very well. Phillip Dorsett is a wide receiver that played for my Patriots for many seasons, a former first-round pick of the Colts and formerly of Seattle. I would think that Urban Meyer probably reached out to Belichick maybe and asked him about this guy, because I know their relationship is quite close. Phillip Dorsett is a great dude. He's great to have in the locker room. He's a very good teammate. What he brings to you as a player, speed, downfield threat, And probably what Meyer sees is somebody that maybe hasn't been used correctly, from watching him in college. So as a former high draft pick. So Phillip Dorsett, I don't think is ever going to be, a number 1 or number 2. Although he's played as a number 2-ish type of role, number 3-ish in New England when he was there. I think what he is a number 4. That type of guy, he's kind of a play on the outside, go down the field, really didn't ever drop any passes, can be counted on. Just a solid depth wide receiver. Nothing special, but what he does provide in a special way is speed and the ability to stretch the field. So that's Phillip Dorsett. And the final signing for Jacksonville is Carlos Hyde. Carlos Hyde. Jacksonville. I like it. Carlos Hyde, I think, is going to complement what they have already at running back with Robinson very well. Carlos Hyde was actually one of the more underrated backup number 2 running backs last year. Had a pretty big role as Chris Carson's primary backup, and Chris Carson missed a lot of action last year. He was also a 1,000-yard rusher for Houston. So he can still play. He can still run the football well. He brings power to the backfield of Jacksonville. While I don't think Robinson is really a power back, I think he's a little bit different, maybe a little bit more quickness to his game than a Carlos Hyde. But Carlos Hyde brings that downhill running style, that in-your-face, grind-it out running style that I think really does suit Urban Meyer. So I think that's going to fit well. I also think they probably have a connection there, being an Ohio State running back. So I could see that being a fit there too. So Jacksonville, no real sexy moves here. I think the biggest one is Roy Robertson Harris. But the others are all role players that I think will fit what they're looking for in terms of the culture of building Jacksonville, right? You're getting a former Patriot and Super Bowl champion. You're getting Carlos Hyde, who's been a little bit of everywhere. A good, solid backup running back. Jamal Agnew, a very good special teams player. So I like what Jacksonville has done here, spreading a little bit of wealth everywhere on their roster. Nothing huge yet, but solid rotation role players.